The worst way to make ads that convert and scale is to write a script and then shoot that script. It sounds super logical, but it's actually the easiest way to burn through your budget at warp speed and waste a lot of your creative strategist's time, which also wastes budget. It all comes down to money. Welcome to Fix It in Post, the show named after the meanest thing you could ever say to an editor. So back to what we were talking about. If that's your production process, you are not alone. I am not here to shame you. I just want to make your life a little bit less stressful because the job of a creative strategist is hectic enough. Part 1. Who is this woman? Oh, here's a little bit about me in case you want to know who you're taking unsolicited advice from. I'm Joanna Wallace. I am a creative strategy and team building expert. I have experience at agencies like ex-TubeScience and brands like HexClad, and I have seen it all. Production is hard, and there are so many ways to mess it up and waste your time and money. That's why I want to help so you don't make the same mistakes that I have made a million times. When I joined HexClad as the director of paid media creative, I was tasked with founding the department from the ground up. That is all the processes, the systems, the creative strategy, everything. The goal was to take everything in-house and stop relying on outside agencies for all of our content. No disrespect to any of my agency warriors out there. I was one of you. So my first move was actually to set up something that so many brands miss, the foundational shoot. This strategy helped us scale Meta 44% and YouTube 293%. And I know it will work for you as well. Part 2, how brands usually shoot. Okay, so let's quickly run through what you're probably already doing. Concept shoots. You have an idea for an ad. Let's say it's why I gave up coffee for mud water. You script it, you shoot it, you launch it, boom. Nothing wrong with this approach. The problem is that when that ad crushes, you don't have any way to scale it. Unless you shot extra footage specifically for scaling, which I highly recommend and will be an entirely other video, you really have to set up another shoot in order to do big scales. You can do like green screen or voiceover, but truly, like if you want to get those other angles and you want to really test on-ramps, you're stuck. That ad is essentially one and done. Maybe like 3 and done. But still, not enough. If you have a top performing ad, you want to be able to scale it infinitely. And to do that, you're going to have to set up a whole new shoot, which takes time and money. You're also probably doing influencer or UGC shoots. Send creators a brief, they shoot it at home, they send you back a video, boom, you launch it, done. Both methods leave you constantly prepping and paying for shoots just to scale what's already working. It's inefficient and expensive. The solution is the foundational shoot. A foundational shoot isn't about one ad. It's about building yourself an asset library for hundreds of future ads that you haven't even thought of yet. Think of it like a box of crayons. You don't just buy the 4 colors that you want for that particular art project. You're gonna buy a box of 50 colors and it's gonna last you for like a million art projects until your crayons break or your dog eats it or you melt it in the microwave because it's super fun. You're giving yourself endless creative tools without knowing what you're gonna make in the future. That's because most top performing paid media ads are modular. You're moving around different pieces of your narrative and different value props in order to recombine and tell your story different ways. So that's like UGC mashups, problem solution, voiceover under B-roll. A foundational shoot gives you all the building blocks to build all these future ads without having to shoot every time. Yes, it costs more upfront. I admit that. But here's how to counter your boss when they start freaking out about budget. Just to be clear, you will never stop working with creators, but you won't be relying on them for every little quick test and turnaround. One massive shoot that sets you up for the whole year is infinitely more efficient and cost effective than constantly having to shoot new concepts. You're basically bulk buying your creative assets. It is the Costco of shoots. And who doesn't love Costco? Except for me, I hate it.
It's so big and overwhelming and there's so many people and it gives me anxiety and I hate going in there. And I send my husband there because it's just too much.
But everybody else likes Costco. It's like a freaking cult. So like this seems positive.
Oh my God, this is not my therapy session.
So for the purposes of this video, I am talking about UGC iPhone shoots that are just shooting B-roll, no actors saying lines to camera. You can absolutely include sound bites and foundational shoots, but that's a whole other beast. And for the purposes of this video, we're just talking about B-roll. And depending on your brand, you may also need elevated high quality footage, but since that doesn't apply to everybody, we're not gonna talk about that right now. Those are for the fancy people. So you have 2 options for how to shoot this. The first one is you can shoot it in-house. It is more expensive, but you definitely have more control. Your strategist can be on set and make sure they get everything they need shot specifically in the paid media style. You don't have to worry about renegotiating creator contracts or have to take down top videos because they feature expired footage. That situation sucks really bad and can really mess up your account stability. So in terms of pricing, day rates start about $300 for talent and crew. You have to think about food food, you have to think about location. So depending on the setup with your company and if you have production capabilities in-house, this could be cost efficient, but it could also just totally break the bank. That's why there's another option, which is farming it out to creators. This starts about $300 per creator. The more you pay a creator, honestly, the better work they're gonna do. But yes, you can get what you need for probably around $300. You send your product, you send a detailed shot list, you do a pre-pro call to make sure they know what they're doing, and then you cross your fingers and you pray. It's riskier because creator deliverables can be hit or miss, and you don't have someone who's able to give feedback in real time. My recommendation is sneaky option number 3, a combination of both. You want to farm out as much as you can to your creators because that's more cost effective, but then you internally shoot the priority shots that absolutely need to be done correctly. So you've gotten your foundational shoot approved by your manager. Now, how do you create the shot list? Here's my systematic approach. For the biggest VPs, the ones you're using in your thumb stops and your on-ramp, you're gonna wanna shoot 5 to 10 visual options. For minor VPs that are later in your video, you probably just need like 3 to 5. Then you're gonna list out every problem that your product solves, and you're gonna want visuals to illustrate the problem and the solution. So sometimes that is functionality, that's just the same as your value props, but a lot of the time you also really want to inject emotion. So you're gonna wanna show your talent reacting to the problem, reacting to the solution. And it goes more than the value prop, because when you are trying to sell something, you are selling the benefit, you are selling the solution, you are selling the feeling. You're not actually selling that product. So you need to make sure that it's not just cold, hard, look at this functionality, it has a twist top. That's why you want multiple ways of showing it so that you can test through and figure out what connects with the audience. They just want to be seen. Everyone just wants to be seen and understood and represented. And if you already have data showing that a specific shot works, you're gonna want to double down on that. You're gonna want to shoot like 5 to 10 more versions of that exact shot, changing elements so that it feels fresh, but not losing the core of why it converted. You're also gonna need persona diversity. You can't do a foundational shoot with just one talent. Then you're only representing one type of persona. You need to make sure that, once again, everybody feels seen. So you're gonna want talent of different ages and genders and ethnicities. For this purpose, and to make sure you don't go crazy and have to hire like 50 talent, really focus on the personas that have the highest potential to convert, that are the bread and butter of your product. And if it's on your quarterly plan to break into new personas, you obviously need to be able to shoot them as well. The next part is you need to plan your thumb stops. These are eye-catching visuals that are still related to your product and make people watch the rest of your video. You want dramatic, mesmerizing visuals that still demonstrate your value prop. Otherwise, you're gonna have a video where your thumb stop is amazing, but your ROAS and your click-through rate are total shit. Snapping from problem to solution, all those little tricks that you're seeing trending on TikTok, you're gonna wanna make sure that you shoot some of those so that it adds flow to your video. And they also make really good thumb stops. So basically you're figuring out literally every way that you can message your product and then a bunch of visuals that you can use to illustrate that in a video. Here's the crucial step that most teams forget. Asset organization. Okay, so now you've just shot a ridiculous amount of content, and most teams just throw it onto Google Drive and let it sit and rot there labeled IMG_1567 and think everything is gonna be fine. This is not fine. That is literally a creative strategist and an editor's worst nightmare. Like my eye is twitching just thinking about it. Oh my God, my hand is actually shaking. Without proper organization and tagging, you're gonna hate your life. If you're a one-person team, maybe you'll remember who Old Man Beardy is, but when you scale and hire new people, they're gonna waste so many hours hunting for footage or constantly bugging you when the whole point of hiring them was to take work off your plate, but now you're doing extra work because your system was disorganized and it's wasting everyone's time. Nobody has time for that. Time is the biggest commodity when you're a creative strategist. You are expected to just churn. And if you're wasting your time having your eyes glaze over trying to find a clip that you need, you are not gonna hit your deliverables, you're not gonna hit your KPIs, and your boss is gonna be pissed. That's not a threat. Like, don't, I feel like I'm threatening you. This is where proper asset management becomes crucial. Every clip needs to be tagged and categorized so you can search for it super fast. You do not want finding a clip to be the bottleneck in your system. That's lame. That could be easily fixed. So your shot of somebody frothing mud water, you'd tag it woman, actor B-roll, product name, kitchen, frothing. That's why Recharm is a life saver. They chop up your footage into bite-sized clips that are exactly the moment you are looking for, so you can quickly search for them and throw them in an edit brief and move on with your life. Recharm also has collections, which allow you to favorite your best clips, and you can either just keep them for yourself in your personal collection, or you can do a shared collection so that your whole team has access to them. This is where you can put in your top performing thumb stops or your best visuals for showing your major VPs, so it's just quick and easy and everybody knows where to find them. Proper organization makes video briefing infinitely faster, and when you're onboarding new strategists and editors, they can hit the ground running instead of having to waste so much time learning your chaotic system. All the headache off your plate. Bottom line is, the most important shoot you can do is the foundational shoot. A modular shoot gives you the footage that you need to illustrate every value prop, problem, solution, thumb stop that you could need to illustrate future videos. You do not need specific ad scripts to shoot this. If you have some in mind and you want to collect a specific shot because you know you're going to do it in the future, great. But you do not need to have every single concept planned in order for this shoot to be valuable. The idea is to set yourself up with a library of footage that will last you the rest of the year. How often you need to do these shoots depends on your brand, depends on your spend and how fast you're burning through your visuals. It really depends. Are you creating 50 ads a week or are you creating 5 ads a week? If you're creating 5, you probably won't need to shoot this very often, maybe once a year. If you are delivering a shit ton of ads every week, you're probably going to have to shoot this maybe twice a year because your visuals are gonna bore the hell out of your audience much faster. If your editor starts to get sick of a visual, that is the sign that it is gonna start to burn out because that person is the closest to the ads, the closest to the edit, and they're the first ones to hate their life when they have to keep seeing the same image over and over and over again. That is a good sign. It doesn't have to be immediately, but that is the first signal that your video footage needs to be refreshed. All right, final takeaways on why foundational shoots are absolutely essential. So with this approach, you can write whatever your heart desires without having to stop and shoot. You can whip up edit briefs at warp speed. You can onboard new team members without expecting them to be mind readers. You can easily scale your top performing visuals, and you can stop burning your budget on one-off shoots. But most importantly, you now have this asset library foundation so you can turn your creative team into a diabolically efficient creative strategy machine. And that will allow you to scale your company. Boom, that's it. I hope you watched this on 1.75 speed. I hope I sounded like a chipmunk. That would be really hilarious. I will be continuing to do these videos every few weeks. So if there's a topic you want me to cover that you have burning questions on, leave it in the comments. I will respond to them. If you have follow-up questions on foundational shoots and how it applies specifically to your brand, you can find me on LinkedIn, Joanna Wallace. You can also find me on Twitter because I refuse to call it X at JoWall202. And so thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye. Oh my God, I feel like this could have been an email, guys.